Whether you like gameplay or just want to relive those childhood memories, could this be the ultimate gaming companion? Well, let's find out as we take a look at the Anbernic RG35XX PLUS. Anbernic has been around the block a few times now with their impressive creation of handheld gaming friends. The originally released RG35XX was met with mostly great acclaim, but unfortunately it lacked the pure perfection that it could have been. Thus Anbernic went back to the arcade drawing board and created the follow-up, the RG35XX PLUS. So let's remove this piece of retro hardware from its nifty but plain packaging and see what it can do. Inside the box you can expect to find one RG35XX PLUS console, one MicroSD card, one USB-A to USB-C charging cable, one instruction manual, one screen protector and a pack of screen cleansing wipes. And now taking our first gander at the arcade's exterior, you may just notice a slight resemblance to the original Nintendo Game Boy, which I feel has been duplicated astonishingly well. From the nostalgic grey coloured hard shell right down to the purple buttons and angled speaker. It seriously screams retro. Taking a closer look at the buttons, because they are pretty essential when it comes to gameplay, luckily they feel pretty solid and robust, instantly reminding you in fact of the early console era with a comfortable rubber membrane underneath. On the back you have the essential shoulder buttons neatly placed at a slight angle, which does provide a bit of extra comfort for those games that demand some trigger action. Looking at the right hand side is where you'll find a power button, a reset button, plus two MicroSD card slots. On the left there's the adequately placed up and down volume controls, before moving on to the bottom where you will see a headphone port along with a USB-C charging input. And then finally reaching the top where we have a charging LED indicator, a power LED indicator, plus an awesomely included micro HDMI out. Because yes, you can plug this into your TV or monitor if you do fancy playing on a bigger screen. And speaking of the screen, well, the RG35XX PLUS houses a 3.5 inch IPS OCA or optically clear adhesive screen with a resolution of 640 by 480. A perfect match for not only your retro games but also for bringing out those vibrant colours. It is incredibly slick and sharp, and because it is an IPS screen, it offers great viewing angles should you be ever trying to play this during a bumpy high-speed pursuit. Basically, the screen is a very valuable asset. Now before we go into the innards of this pet beast, I would just like to congratulate Anbernic on the overall feel of this handheld's form factor. The plastic shell is smooth for comfort but not slippery to be dropped. It's compact enough to fit in your pocket, yet big enough to not strain your eyes. I particularly like the rigid battery case cover on the back that not only provides that extra bit of grip but also works in harmony with the overall design to give this device an extra piece of premium ruggedness. But I digress, so let's check out these specs. Well, this little guy is run with a H700 quad-core ARM Cortex-A53 1.5GHz CPU alongside a dual-core G31 MP2 GPU. It has 1GB of LPDDR4 RAM and it comes complete with a removable 64GB microSD card with an additional slot to add your own external card with additional ROMs. The battery is a 3300mAh lithium polymer battery that can provide up to 8 hours of gameplay, and not only does the RG35XX PLUS support over 30 types of emulators including the epic Sega Dreamcast and Sony PSP, but you'll be happy to hear that it also supports Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity too. So we've unwrapped and kind of dissected, so now it's time to sit back, relax and take a trip down retroactive lane. And we are starting our journey with what you first see when you switch this console on, which is the operating system and menu. Now there are two main routes to go with this, as included is not only the standard operating system, which does its job of playing your ROMs, also with an in-game menu that allows you a few limited options, but personally I would go down the second route of using the pre-installed RetroArch OS. Not only is this more stable and just an all-round well-known and easier to use application, but it also offers a far superior and in-depth game menu for those of you who are experts in bringing your ROMs out to their best ability on this device. Whatever emulator and ROM you do decide to play though, you will be unleashing a rabbit hole into sheer enjoyment. The compactness of this device makes gameplay all the more attractive, as you can quite literally pull it out of your pocket and begin playing. And continuing our journey into the gameplay, it's just remarkable how well everything works, especially considering the price point of the RG35XX PLUS. Okay, I say everything works, but what I really mean is almost everything. The gameplay itself though is faultless. Smooth, fast, responsive. It's quite incredible how good it is. And not only is this thanks to the superb display of sheer clean opticals, but also the quality of the D-pad and the buttons. It all just works together to ensure your trip to your personal arcade powerhouse is a stress-free one. The only snag in terms of buttons is the trigger ones, as they can be a little difficult to use due to the device being so small. And if you are like me and apparently have big hands, then it can feel a little constrained. Luckily, the majority of the older games you will be playing won't require you to get cramp in your hand as you attempt to shoulder bash. But if you are into your arcade fighting games, or personally want this for more recent console gameplay, then just make a little note that it may be slightly difficult to competitively recreate those button bashing days. Diving into the ROMs themselves, well, the majority of them work flat out in bringing you rapid, free-flowing gameplay. Even on the more modern consoles such as the Dreamcast, so far I've encountered no slowdown and everything looks all silky smooth. Classics such as Crazy Taxi and House of the Dead are truly brought back to life without having to search thrift stores for an entire Dreamcast game system. Frame rates are high and the visuals are compellingly addictive. Honestly, it is just a beauty to play, especially when playing on the older 8-bit systems, which thanks to modern technology, this Game Boy niche can easily handle them, if not improve. My personal trip so far has included throwing on my first ever game, which was The Ninja on the Master System, to one of my most treasured memories of Mortal Kombat on the Sega Mega Drive, before finally reaching the pivotal PlayStation 1 era where I could afford my own games and not have to wait for Santa to drop them off down the chimney. When you get to the N64 and PSP emulators however, then you do encounter a slight traffic jam. By this I mean games can be hit and miss due to the N64 and PSP having analog controls, something the RG35XX PLUS does not, and this can quite literally leave you just standing there. Now thanks to RetroArch you can go into the settings and remap the controls, but for me this is not what I want to be spending my precious time on. I just want to play. If however you do fancy fiddling with the options though, well, the options are there. It's not a 100% guaranteed success, but worth a try if you really want to enjoy a specific analog essential game. Our next quick stop off is the sound, and here is where I'll tell you that if this is something of great importance to you, well, just don't expect too much from the little guy housed in the corner. It can sound a bit dull at times, For me though, I feel the speaker is more than adequate for providing your ears with those faithful electronic tunes from the past. It's not like you have to host an all-night musical extravaganza with it. But hold on a moment, I'm telling you it's great, but then listing its hitches. So which is it? Well, let me explain. Basically, this console is great. More than great in fact, as almost every hurdle that this nifty device encounters, it has a trampoline to get over it. Remember the trigger issues? Well, thanks to the included Bluetooth capabilities, you can connect a Bluetooth controller. And before you even mention about it being odd holding a Bluetooth controller to play on a console with a 3.5-inch screen, well, you simply connect it to a TV or monitor via a pre-bought mini HDMI cable. So as you can see, this game daddy, as you could call it, does bring a lot to the gaming table. The bumps in the road that it does encounter are small, and if you wish and have the patience, can mostly be driven over. But considering what you can pick up the RG35XX PLUS for, this is easily a deal that would be difficult to refuse. It's a small device that fits in your pocket, provides easy access to your retro ROM collection, can play arcade emulation, plus your favourite vintage home consoles, all on a glorious and assertively attractive display. You have further options provided by the built-in menu and wireless connections, all wrapped up in a clean and nostalgic design. So could this be one of the best retro handhelds out there? Well, I cannot say, as I've not tried every console out there. But what I can say is for something to beat this in terms of gameplay, I'm willing to bet it would be at a far greater loss to your wallet. Apart from it having no Sega Saturn emulation, but that's because the Saturn is notoriously difficult to emulate, the only real issue that I have is the cumbersome operating system. I'm not saying it's the worst, but I know that it could be better. Its startup is a little slow and its navigation menu is a little basic, if not boring. Which, although for me personally I'm not that fussed about, I do know that some true gamerholics will be disappointed by its lackluster OS design. To summarise though, well, I can't really let anything put me off this device for good, because I enjoy every minute playing on it. I play it at my desk, on the sofa, and even in bed. It's just incredible to have an entire console library in the palm of your hands, providing hours of fun for not only yourself, but even your friends and family. If you are a lover of retro gaming, then this is definitely for you. And maybe in the future Anbernic will sort out the operating system, but for now we'll just have to bite our tongue and wait. Thankfully, however long that does take, with the amount of power and nostalgia all crammed into this next generation retro handheld device, the time is easily passed with the constant possibilities of gameplay that the RG35XX PLUS easily delivers. And there we go, that was my review for the Anbernic RG35XX PLUS, so I hope that was of some help to you. Before I go however, just a quick disclaimer that although this device was sent to us for the purpose of this review, the thoughts and opinions expressed throughout this video are entirely my own and completely impartial. However, if you've still got any questions or comments or even thoughts that you'd like to tell me about the RG35XX PLUS, then please feel free to write them in the comment section below. Not forgetting, if you enjoyed this video and you like tech and gadgets, then please show your support to the channel by liking this video and of course subscribing as well. But until next time, thank you all for watching, please stay safe out there and I'll hopefully see you at some point very soon. Thank you.